Let's get married.
My boyfriend Chris said, but I couldn't make up my mind. It's not that I have any complaints about him. On the contrary, I understand that he's more wonderful than I deserve. I was happy when he said it, and I wanted to agree right away. However,
You should go ahead and marry without worrying about me.
my mother, Erica Walker, said with a wry smile.
I can't just leave you behind.
My mother is currently admitted to the biggest hospital in town. Not just anywhere, but in the terminal care ward on the top floor. She wasn't born with poor health. She suddenly fell ill when I was in college, and has been hospitalized ever since. How many years has it been?
You've got to grab your own happiness, right? Besides, with a stepmother like me around, married life wouldn't be easy, would it?
That's true, but
Her words make sense. She's the one who raised me, a foster child not of her own blood, by herself. I just want her to get better. That was my wish.
Then, how about bringing that boyfriend over next time? I'd like to meet him.
Despite how hard it is for her to stay awake, she said it with such an excited tone that I couldn't help but agree. I understand. Her life won't last much longer. There's hardly anything left that I can do. The one thing I can do for her is to show her my bridal look.
Mom, he's here.
The next day, I timed it so that Chris would arrive just as my mother's tests were finished.
Please, come in.
Hearing her voice, I felt relieved. I always worry what if she wouldn't answer.
Hi, hello.
Chris entered the room nervously behind me.
Is this your boyfriend?
Facing my mother's gaze, Chris straightened up.
Yes, I'm dating Alice. It's Chris.
He sounded almost like a soldier. My mother thought the same and chuckled, saying,
Please have a seat. No need to be so nervous.
and gestured to a metal chair.
So again, your name is Chris, right?
Yes, Chris Nelson, mother.
Well, calling me mother already. You're a bit hasty, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
Mom. Stop it. Chris, don't worry about it. She's not really mad.
Seeing my mother holding back her laughter, Chris finally realized he hadn't misspoken. He breathed a sigh of relief.
I've been sick for a long time. I get impatient. Forgive me.
My mother prefaced so, then asked.
Chris Nelson, will you take good care of Alice?
My mother wasn't naturally impatient or anything. She used to be quite laid back. Yet, since she became ill, her life has been uncertain. Maybe that's why she's become more direct. As if she's running out of time. Chris doesn't know about her like that. He simply looked straight back at her and said,
Yes.
That seemed to be enough for her.
I see. Understood.
My mother took a quite deep breath and nodded earnestly.
Please take good care of Alice.
She looked as if she was mustering her last bit of strength, entrusting something precious to someone else, and I couldn't bear to look directly at her.
Yes, I will make your daughter happy at all costs.
Chris's words, which would normally make me jump for joy, now passed through my ears as if they were about someone else.
Mom? Is it really okay to leave things this way? Alone in this empty hospital room, with no one but me coming to visit, you might just die here.
I feel like screaming it all out right now. If only screaming could solve everything, how wonderful that would have been. Reality is always the ultimate realist. Things like in novels or dramas just don't happen.
I'll come again.
I'm not even sure what the three of us talked about. Before I knew it, the slanting sunlight was streaming into the room, painting everything an orange hue. Chris sensed my mood and left the room first. Then, I followed him out shortly after.
Wait, Alice.
My mother's calm voice made my steps stop.
Is Chris's family named Nelson, right?
Yes, that's right.
What's up with her? After a moment of thought, she leaned toward the drawer of the TV stand next to her bed.
I'll do it.
The TV stand was just out of reach from the bed. She hardly watches TV, so the nurses had moved it to a convenient spot for their work. At her instruction, I opened a small safe in the drawer of the TV stand.
Can you get that box for me?
This one?
It was the box containing the pendant my mother treasured. The pendant was the only accessory belonged to the unadorned her. Probably not very expensive. Something a teenager could buy with saved-up allowance, but my mother kept it stored away without wearing it. I always thought it was some kind of keepsake.
If you're going to Chris's parents' house, wear this, okay?
But it's your precious.
That's why.
She said with a gentle smile.
That's why I want you to wear it. Because it's
A pendant that brings good luck, huh? I wonder if that's really true.
A week later, I was heading to Chris's parents' house with him. The pendant was on my chest. I kept it hidden because it's embarrassing to show to others. Ultimately, pushed by my mother, I decided to greet Chris's family. The word marriage weighs heavily. Can I really be happy? More importantly, will I be accepted by his family?
We're almost there.
Gripping the steering wheel next to me, Chris was quieter than usual, perhaps more nervous. We are now heading to a place in the suburbs, filled with nature. A place where celebrities and the wealthy build their vacation homes, its so-called affluent area. It seems Chris's family lives in such a place.
Hey, Chris, could it be that you're rich?
I'm just an average guy, a regular office worker. Haven't I always said I never have any money?
I can see that, especially since you couldn't even afford the cab fare and had to stay over.
I only have sweet ideas about wealthy families, but I wonder if his parents are strict? Or maybe they're annoyed by him. Either way, it feels like it won't be straightforward. I want to show my mother my bridal look. I have to make that dream come true.
We're here, Alice.
As Chris parked the car in front of a large mansion, my heart nearly broke.
We're home, Mom. This is Alice Walker, who I've been dating.
Hi there. Nice to meet you, Alice. I'm Chris's mother, Camille. I've heard all about you from Chris. Please, come in.
Nice to meet you too. Excuse me.
There was something about Camille that reminded me of my own mother. Although she looked nothing like my frail mother now, there was an aura about her that felt familiar. That was a relief. As I entered the house, I was greeted by an incredibly posh space. It looked like a movie set, something I'd only seen in films. Had Chris been raised in such a place? The lived-in feel everywhere clearly said it wasn't just a set. I was led into the living room. Plush sofas, expensive-looking rugs, a huge chandelier hanging from the ceiling. I couldn't help but feel intimidated by the interior.
I'm sorry we couldn't provide a better welcome.
No worries. It's already way too much for me.
Perhaps amused by my reaction, Camille was smiling. Indeed, her smile reminded me of my mother.
Sorry for the delay. I'm Chris's father, Kevin. Please make yourself comfortable,
said Kevin, emerging with a serious expression. He seemed like an honest man. That was my first impression.
I'm sorry for the sudden visit, Dad, Mom.
Knowing I was nervous, Chris broke the ice. After some small talk and a more relaxed atmosphere, he said,
I'm considering marrying Alice.
Kevin and Camille seemed to have expected it. They looked at each other and nodded.
It's just like you to not call home and then suddenly show up. I figured it was something like that.
Kevin turned to me and asked,
Alice, are you sure about Chris?
He spoke in a calm voice. From their exchanges, I could tell what kind of people Kevin and Camille are. Truly cared about their son.
Yes, I'm sure about Chris. But
without realizing it, my mouth chose the next words.
Actually, my mother is ill, and
I was about to say her time wasn't much longer. That's when it happened.
No.
Kevin's stern voice hit my ears.
Sorry?
His expression suddenly turned severe, as if looking at an enemy. I realized then.
Chris, please let Alice go home. There will be no wedding talk.
Dad.
Wait, please.
I didn't want my mother's medical bills paid or anything like that. Rather, she is already. Those words just kept spinning around in my head, and I couldn't say them. If I did, it would be like admitting that my mother is going to be gone.
Listen, Dad. Alice's mom is.
It's okay, Chris.
I shook my head weakly.
Thank you for your time.
I just said that. Marriage, maybe it's not possible, but maybe that's just how it has to be. Just then,
Wait, Alice, is your pendant?
it seemed to have fallen from my neck as I moved. A shabby pendant that totally mismatched the luxurious decor of the house. Embarrassed, I hurried to put it away, but Camille's voice was serious.
Please, can I see that?
I took out the pendant and held it in front of her. Then she stared intently at the pendant, and after a while sighed deeply.
My goodness, I thought so.
Kevin did the same. The sternness from before was gone, replaced by a serious expression as he looked at the pendant.
May I hold it?
At his request, I nodded. He touched the pendant gently, as if handling a treasure.
Thank you very much. Well, Alice,
Yes?
I'm sorry for raising my voice earlier. May I ask your mother's name?
Yes, it's Erica.
Is that Erica as in Erica?
Yes, that's right.
I wonder what was going on suddenly, but he continued.
Do you have a photo or something?
I do. Here you go.
I showed them a photo on my phone.
Oh, yes. This is her.
Seeing my puzzled look, Kevin and Camille began to speak intermittently.
Erica and I were always together.
Camille said, looking nostalgically into the air. She was probably recalling the fun days they had.
Kevin and I were each other's first loves. We dated since high school and have been together ever since.
Wow, that's very nice.
That's a wonderful story. Most people usually break up or something.
It was Erica, your mother, who brought us together.
My mom did?
Yes. Erica was good friends with Camille back then. We were always together in a tiny club with just 3 members, always stuck doing the physical work.
I was surprised. I had no idea my mother had a connection to Chris's family.
Erica and I were always close friends. Maybe that's why we ended up liking the same person, Kevin.
Now that Camille is here with him, it meant my mother wasn't the one chosen.
Erica was passionate, always making moves on Kevin. But
I was in love with Camille. I only saw Erica as a friend.
It was an unrequited love for my mother. She loved Kevin, but Kevin loved Camille, and Camille loved him back. She couldn't bring herself to come between 2 people who loved each other. I knew it painfully well. Because she was someone who always put someone else before herself.
Erica said one day, "Be happy." Despite how much she loved Kevin, she stepped back for our sake. After that, everything was as usual. She stayed with us until graduation, as if nothing had ever happened.
How painful that must have been, to continue interacting normally while watching the person you love be with your best friend. I couldn't do it. I would have distanced myself immediately. But my mother didn't. Probably because she cared so much about both Kevin and Camille. She decided to watch over them until graduation, and stayed by their side until the end.
The pendant is a symbol of a promise between Erica and me. After graduation, we promised to find happiness and meet again.
Camille looked at my chest.
I was threatened by Erica to make Camille happy, or else.
Kevin chuckled, stroking his chin. That's so like my mother.
Mom was actually married once before. But it ended quickly. Then she adopted me, an orphan with no relatives, and raised me as if I were her own daughter.
I had no relatives. After losing my real parents in an accident, I had no one to rely on. My mother Erica reached out to me. The most important person in my life. The person I want to be with more than anyone else. However,
Mom is sick. She won't make it. I know her time is short.
Kevin and Camille were speechless. Their expressions said they hadn't expected it to be so serious.
The day I told her I was going to meet Chris's parents, she entrusted me with this pendant.
Maybe she knew about Chris. Maybe she had somehow researched his family. Because she saw a resemblance in him. It's all just a possibility. But still, she gave me the pendant. A precious keepsake from important people to her, given to me, who isn't her biological daughter. As a mother wishing for her daughter's happiness, she was just doing what seemed natural. Just like I wanted to show her my bridal look, she was trying to make me happy in her own way.
Alice, are you okay?
Tears started rolling down my cheeks, one after another, endlessly. Just then,
Alice, you catch a call. It's from the hospital.
Chris handed me the smartphone. I tried to compose my voice as I answered.
Hello?
Is this Alice Walker's phone? I'm a doctor at North General Hospital.
I had a feeling.
Your mother, Erica, is not doing well. Can you come immediately?
I'll be there. I definitely will.
There were things I still hadn't told my mother.
I'll get the car.
Chris immediately left the room. I quickly got ready.
Alice, we will follow later. Don't hesitate to put Chris to work on the way.
I thanked Chris's parents. Even though they made time for me, we hardly got to talk.
When everything settles down, let's talk again. If you can cry for your family like that, I feel we can trust Chris with you.
Kevin and Camille said with gentle smiles. As I thanked them again, a car horn sounded from outside. I hurried out of the room. 3 years have passed. After that, my mother passed away just as I arrived at the hospital. I couldn't be there for her final moments, and I didn't get to say all I wanted, but I feel like she's still watching over me somewhere.
Mommy, Daddy,
Hey, Pamela. It's Daddy here.
your beard hurts.
Today, Chris, our daughter Pamela, and I are visiting my mother's grave. Chris has become completely doting, always fussing over Pamela and getting hurt by her innocent words. As for me, I have returned to work and am gradually getting used to the routine again. Peaceful, happy days. Watching Pamela play, I wonder if my mother felt this way too.
Grandma's grave.
Don't run, watch out, Pamela.
Pamela's become quite the handful. Wouldn't Erica be surprised by the noise?
No way. Mom was noisy enough herself, she'd probably be joining in the fun.
If my mother were still alive, she'd definitely be getting along great with Pamela. I had a strong feeling about that.
Look, did someone come here before us?
Following Chris's voice to the grave, indeed, there were fresh flowers placed there.
Really? Maybe it was your parents?
Probably.
The trio's friendship continues even now. From a pendant, memories have taken shape.
What's that pink flower called?
Oh, that's...
The bell-shaped pink petals fluttering in the wind. The flower's name is Erica. Symbolizing loneliness and solitude, it sways strongly as if to defy such notions. With a gentle hue,